So this is a video I've been wanting to make for a little while now. Basically just a content piece detailing my thoughts on Starbound in general. Since that's what most of my content is these days, Starbound related, I thought some of you might want to know what I think about the game itself. Do I like it? Do I enjoy it? Do I not like it? Is someone holding a sword to my throat, telling me to make videos about it? And so on and so forth. If you're watching or listening to this, I'm going to guess you know what Starbound is, or at the very least, you've heard of it. Maybe you've sunk hundreds or thousands of hours into it, or maybe you haven't played it at all. Maybe you haven't even heard of Starbound before clicking on this video. The incredibly basic definition I can give for those people is Starbound is a 2D space exploration sandbox game with a procedurally generated universe that plays similar to Terraria. Starbound's first release was in late 2013 when it first came to early access, and holy crap, 2013 was almost 10 years ago at this point. Now I feel old. Anyways, Starbound stayed in early access for about 3 years until its 1.0 release in the middle of 2016. The game received regular updates for 3 years afterwards, so up until 2019. And then, after version 1.4.4, things just stopped. There have been no more updates since then, and news regarding if Chucklefish is still working on the game, Chucklefish being Starbound's developers, yeah, non-existent. The last update on Starbound's website was in 2020, and that was mainly regarding the console port, the Xbox One port. For the record, Chucklefish is not the developer working on the console port of Starbound. A company called Blitworks is. Still, news on that has been pretty scarce, leading to many people wondering, is Starbound a dead game? My answer to that question is actually rather simple. No, it is not. That answer has a nice big asterisk next to it, and I'll explain that later. But you need to take into consideration factors such as Starbound's community. Starbound's community is still incredibly active to this day. People make regular posts on the Starbound subreddit, posting pictures of their builds and obviously asking a ton of questions, and posting fan art of their characters. Also places like the Frackin' Universe subreddit and Discord server, Chucklefish's forums, presumably other Starbound related communities, they're all still active to varying degrees. The modding scene, oh my goodness, there have been several incredible mods made for Starbound within the past couple of years. Arcana, which I discussed a bit in my last video, it was released in January of 2021, and it still receives regular updates. And it's an incredibly fun mod. Seriously, if you haven't tried it, go get it. Anyways, you'll usually see 1 or 2 new mods posted to Starbound Steam Workshop per day. That might not sound like much, and these mods are of varying degrees of quality. Sometimes they're literal shitposts and memes, but still, that's something. You might be surprised as to how many Starbound servers are still active and have active communities in and of themselves. In fact, there is a website called starboundservers.net, which, as you might expect, has a list of Starbound servers. It's not all-encompassing, but still. I'm looking at it right now, and there are a couple of servers with a decent number of players on them. Yeah, it's about 10 to 8 on a Saturday night, but hey, that's cool, even if you won't see me on these servers anytime soon. Simply put, I don't have the time these days. But I do have friends who play on a bunch of roleplay servers and such. Again, hey, that's something. That's cool. Hopefully, you understand what I'm getting at here. Just because Starbound hasn't received any updates at all in 3 years and counting, doesn't mean that the community is dead. You could say that the community is carrying Starbound on its back right now. And this includes people like myself. Most of my YouTube output within the past 2 years has been Starbound related. Not to mention, there are people like Ace the Ocarina Maker who still occasionally uploads Starbound videos. Absolute bangers. and Captain Southbird, who still occasionally uploads Southbird videos? Well, I guess that's true, but Starbound videos. Absolute bangers. Seriously, go watch the Starbound with the Varmints series on his channel. It is amazing, and you will not regret it. But I digress. Obviously, there are more people making Starbound videos on YouTube than just me and Southbird and Ace. And I'm sure there are plenty of people who live stream it on Twitch and other places. True, many of these people are smaller content creators, but they're still giving Starbound attention. I'm still giving Starbound attention. I mean, this video is about Starbound after all. And I kinda have to wonder how many people have bought Starbound because of my videos, or because of Ace's videos, or Southbird's videos. Which leads me to the asterisk in the room. Yup, it's time to talk about it, the game itself. As I mentioned earlier, Starbound has not received any updates since 2019. The official blog on Starbound's website has had no new posts since 2020. That final post mainly discussed Starbound coming to Xbox Game Pass and the state of the console port, how there have been some development issues, optimization issues, and how there was no timetable for when it might release. I've heard that any further updates to Starbound, the PC version I mean, will hinge upon the console port's release. Supposedly, and what I'm about to say is based off a comment I saw on the Starbound subreddit earlier today, take this with a grain of salt. Supposedly, the console port of Starbound will be released next year, 2023. When in 2023, I don't know. Apparently this was something some QA person at, I think, Blitworks said? I'm not sure where this person said that, and regardless, things can change at any moment. All that said, it's easy for me to see why some people might view Starbound as a dead game. Once again, no updates to the game since 2019, no updates to the website since 2020, and Chucklefish has been focused on publishing games like Eastward and Wild Frost. They're not only a developer, they're a publisher, which has me wondering how many people at Chucklefish are working on Starbound right now, if any. I don't want to speculate, and besides, even if that last update in 2019 turns out to be the last update, period, even if the game's development issues and labor issues coming to light in 2019 killed off any remaining interest Chucklefish had in developing it, even if Chucklefish decides, hey, this game is still popular enough to warrant new major updates in the future, I still see Starbound as not dead, mainly because of the community, but discounting that for the moment, I'm sure Chucklefish sees Starbound as a finished product. I'm sure they saw it that way with the 1.0 release in 2016. At best, it's in an indefinite content freeze or on hiatus, waiting for that next major update. At worst, it's still a finished single-player game with an optional multiplayer mode. It's not in early access, it's not a live service, and it doesn't have the same update cycle as something like Minecraft or No Man's Sky. Sure, it might not be the greatest game ever made, and in fact, it has a number of glaring flaws still present today, but I enjoy it nonetheless. I enjoy it because it's charming in its own unique way. I enjoy it because it hits all the right notes for me for a space exploration sandbox game. I enjoy it despite all the aforementioned labor and development issues. And by the way, that is a rabbit hole worth exploring. I enjoy it enough to make fan art of it on a regular basis. Lewd fan art even. Yeah, I go there. But perhaps most importantly, I enjoy Starbound because to me, Starbound is an incredibly fun game. It might not be the greatest, as I've already mentioned. The story's kinda bleh, and the game's not well optimized. That's an understatement. But I'm willing to look past all these issues. And I'll even go so far as to say this. If you have never played Starbound before, and you're interested in giving it a go, I'd say, yeah, go ahead and buy it. But it's definitely one of those games where it's best to wait for a sale before buying. And in any case, do not go in expecting something flawless. Manage your expectations, and know that it gets better with mods. I realize this video was not meant to be a review of Starbound, rather it was meant to be me giving some thoughts about the game and the state of it in 2022, well, almost 2023 at this point, but I still felt the need to say what I just said. That again, I do still enjoy Starbound despite all its flaws. You're free to disagree with me on that, of course, but if you are looking for more Starbound content, please subscribe to my channel and ring that bell. I make a regular series called the Starbound Mod Showcase where I showcase Starbound mods. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and do all the typical supporting people on YouTube things. If you want to throw money at me, I have a Patreon, I have a Ko-fi. I'll link both of them in the video's description. Also, there will be a link to some art commission information down there, in case you want to pay me to draw you some lewd Florins or whatever. Oh, and a link to my Discord server where we can hang out and chat Starbound stuff, and things, and other stuffs. Thank you for watching. I seriously hope you enjoyed this. Take care of yourselves, and goodbye for now.